It's a tune called Rogue's March, and one I've known for years, but that particular version is Cornish. There's slight variations in the melody and in the phrasing, and I learnt it from a fantastic musician called Neil Davey, who wrote a book called Fooch, which contains the sort of Bible of Cornish tunes in the modern day, and he does particular things to the tune which really turn it round and make it much more interesting.
And the other two tunes in that set, they're also Cornish and a bit less familiar.
Yeah, those ones are they're Pebm Olva, which are Cornish 5-step tunes, and those ones were written by Neil for a project I did about 2 years ago. He sort of donated them to me for that. So they'd be played for Cornish dances, which are known as Nos Lawans, particular circle dances.
Is that what makes them typically Cornish?
Yeah, it's the steps. It's the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rhythm.
And do they dance different dances as well?
Yeah, it's very similar to Breton French dancing rather than English ceilidh dancing. Good fun.
Is that something that's likely to be on your new album?
I hope so, yeah. I haven't asked him yet, but I'm hoping Neil might make an appearance or two. Yeah.
And is there anything else you can tell us, little snippets, exclusives?
Well, I'm going to try and make the album more joyful, because I'm very into melancholic songs and sadness, and I think it's time to explore the other options a bit. And I'm into the idea of arranging the songs with some sort of string ensemble. So there'll be some viols in there and a hurdy-gurdy and possibly a male voice choir. So it's quite exciting.
You've got a new band lineup.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a bit about each of them?
Yeah, so we've got Mike Cosgrave on the accordion and piano, who's a musician from Bovey Tracy, and I met him via James Dumbleton, who I used to play with. James is now in Guernsey, but just before he left, he introduced me to Mike, and he was in a band called Shinee. He's from a sort of Celtic-y, Scandinavian-y background. And then there's James Budden on the double bass, who's from Dorset, and someone I bumped into at a Nick Wyke and Becky Driscoll gig in Great Torrington, quite randomly. And then our newest member is a wonderful guitarist called Tristan Seume from Guildford, who's someone I've known vaguely for years and had chats with, but not really beyond that. And I had to find a new guitar player last Christmas, and someone suggested him to me, so I had a bit of a research. I went and looked at his MySpace and immediately thought, wow, he's such a wonderful guitar player. So.
You grew up in Staffordshire.
Yeah.
Was there much of a folk scene?
Not really, no. There was a session on a Tuesday evening in a pub called the Spittlebrook that my dad went to religiously every week, and so in the holidays we were allowed to go with him. But it was a whole mix of stuff, a lot of blues and singer-songwritery stuff as well as tunes. So I had that right the way through my childhood, but when I got to about 16, I rebelled a bit and started going to the Irish sessions in Lichfield, which is about half an hour away from Stafford. And I did most of my developing on the fiddle there, I think. I used to sit in the Stafford session and think, I would love to be one of these people that sings for everyone. And that really pushed the desire in me to sing. But at that point, I was far too shy to sing a note in front of people. So that was just, I used to observe in that session a lot more and occasionally play my fiddle along to songs. And the Lichfield session was a very Irish traddy thing where you went along and you tried to learn the tunes. And so I developed an Irish repertoire from going there, and I entered a couple of flars with one of those ceilidh bands with the snare drum going and playing in a really Irish way, which I don't do anymore, but I'm glad I've done both, because I think I've got experience of both sides of it.
And you're now based in the southwest.
Yeah.
So what drew you to that area?
Well, I went to university in Exeter, and I remember when I was going down to the open day, it felt as if I was going on holiday, because my family and I used to go to Sidmouth Folk Festival every summer, and at the time I was really into Thomas Hardy and costume dramas, and the whole area felt quite romantic and green and lovely. And I've stayed there ever since, because there's a fantastic music scene, and particularly a traditional singing scene down there. So I'm very reluctant to leave now.
So it's quite a good creative environment to be in.
Absolutely, yeah. And there's a lot of the older singers still running sing-arounds and sessions, and very willing to share their material with the younger people. Just a really relaxed environment for making music.